Chapter 174, Apprenticeship Applicant. When I slack with number 2, there was a reaction in the space perception. Oh my, is it the Demon King? Although I stand ready for an instant, come to think of it, the Demon King doesn't have transfer. In addition, when I confirm the position by marking, it looks like the Demon King is going around the bottom layer thinking of something. Then who is it? Space Distorter is big considering it's Giri Giri. If it's Giri Giri, he should transfer more beautifully. The person who I know that can use transfer. Ah, there's one person. The shadow of a person who transfer across the space. The middle-aged man who just before the elderly person is a magician who was with the knights before. Eh? Why does this guy come to such a place now? Oh, well, my status has returned considerably. If it's this guy alone, I can kill him quickly. He has trained his skills considerably, so it seems to be delicious in experience points. Oh! The middle-aged man noticed me. Apparently, it looks like he didn't know that I'm here, but what an amazing overreaction. Well, I defeat them completely after all. Although my appearance is different from that time, did the middle-aged man recognize me? It's certain. Even though the appearance changes, that presence... yes, it's me. So you know. Well, it doesn't matter. Then I have you become my experience points. But please wait! I don't have the purpose of hostility. Please hear my story. What? Please make me as your apprentice. What? Somehow, after that, the middle-aged man settled down. Although I gave this body to magic, I fell in love to your magic extremity. I would like to be your apprentice by all means. Since that day when I saw your vivid magic, my heart has been held tightly by that brilliance. The smoothness to the magnificence of the magic construction is like artwork in the natural treasure rank, and the overwhelming presence like a magnificent mountain, the technique like a god that can't considerably be broken by human technique. The flowing magic power is a close resemblance to the flow of the large river, and the overflowing magic is like the sea. Exactly. The essence of the magic is nature, together with the world. Gratitude can't stop because I was reminded of the root. In addition, the magic instruction that doesn't rely on the skills, the technique that gave up on common sense. I was made to change my thought that I narrowed the magic possibilities. I was praised a genius, and I became senile too. The magic means to feel the world, and its technique to change the world. Despite that, I want to admonish the past me who followed the world rule obediently, knowing the world, and changed the world this way. What an easy and difficult thing. I also want to use magic without the skills. The middle-aged man who began to talk with an amazing force. I was dumbfounded, unintentionally, and I ignored the middle-aged man's story. To be honest, I drew back. When I returned to sanity, the killing intention disappeared somehow. Was I taken aback? Even so, there's no way I can make him as my apprentice. In the first place, I can't talk. Mutual understanding is pretty much impossible if I acquire the telepathy skill. Although I have used most of the skill points that I get by unifying with Mother. If it's 100 points, I have it, but I don't want to acquire it. But I don't think that I will acquire it to communicate with this middle-aged man. After all, it's troublesome. This middle-aged man is considerably dangerous because he can make me draw back. A communication with such middle-aged man? No, it's impossible. The hurdle is too high for me. Thus, I decided to ignore him. Although the middle-aged man talks to me with the assumption that I understand the language, why can't he have such expectation as to a monster as the other party? No, I actually understand, though. Usually a person won't think that the monster can understand the language, right? Why did this middle-aged man skip to that part? Isn't his head strange? It was obviously strange. Although it's fine that I decided to ignore him, the middle-aged man didn't return. He keeps talking, and when he knows that I don't have any reaction, he observes me fixedly this time. What's with this guy? At the end, he blazes up by setting a fire on his body with the consent of the day after tomorrow. He was about to die. The figure that was laughed while on the verge of death is rather eerie. After all, this middle-aged man is crazy. Why do you attack yourself? You an idiot? After that, the strange cohabitation life continues. I recover my status while being troubled by the middle-aged man's eccentric behavior. It begins with setting the fire. He made half of his body frozen, and he soars up and high with wind as the air drops. Sometimes he meditates in the water ball made by himself until he's about to be drowned. Rather than meditation, isn't it straying? What does he really want to do? But there was benefit. Because the middle-aged man learned various magic, I observed the activation, and I was able to learn some strange new magics. Especially the fire, water, and ice that I didn't learn. So it was a profit. These three attributes had bad affinity with me, so I was able to learn the skills just in case, but the level doesn't rise easily. The middle-aged man seems to be able to use space magic fairly well, and he brought preserved foods in the space storage, but it looks like it ran out after several days passed. He went somewhere with transfer unwillingly, and when I thought that he gave up, somehow he killed a monster and returned. He ate the monster. That is the fog that is poison. Of course, he has an upset stomach by the poison and was in agony. What does he really want to do? So now he's just fucking hanging out with her. He tells that story, though, in the future. He says that, I guess he more or less just says that she's, like, the most powerful thing ever in that future story. He talks about how he can never be as good as her, but he doesn't talk in such a way that he's afraid of her ever. And this explains that. Yeah. I think he in the future when he talks about her, he's reveling at her power in awe and not in fear, because he's no longer afraid of her. He's just hanging out with her. Yeah.